Hi, I'm Anna Dutton, co-director of Bauer Architecture, and I'm presenting New Modern, shortlisted in the AIA Victorian Architecture Award 2020 in the Alterations and Additions category. Before I start, a huge thank you for supporting the Robin Boyd Foundation and the 2020 virtual open houses. Thank you too to the Foundation for this program and for their wonderful work that they do promoting the long-term value and joy that quality architecture brings. So without further ado, I will present New Modern. So I'll share my screen of the presentation. Hope this is all going to work. I hope that's up on the list. So after a long search, our clients, Ravish, John, Romy and Ella, found a mid-century house where they could create their vision of a contemporary home, influenced by heritage, but not replicating a past era. The 750 square metre site is in Caulfield South. There was no record of the original architect, and it may have been built in the late 60s. It was a modest mid-century example. There was a big open view to the north, and there were some great elements of the original house which became the threads woven into the architecture of the project. Firstly, proportion. The proportions of the original frontage were elegant and respectful to the context and the size of the site. Second, the journey and play of contraction and expansion of large to small, dark to light, low to high ceiling spaces introduced by the whimsical undercroft entry. That's the central image. And thirdly, material and texture. Brick, warm timber lining, stone floors, geometric metalwork and paper were all evidence of the house. The challenges of the site included a big two-storey neighbour right on the eastern boundary, a west neighbour downhill but tight to that boundary, and the existing living areas of the house were small and dark. The neighbours were all brick veneer volume houses built in the 80s and 90s. Given the date of the subdivision, they may have originally been houses of a similar era to the subject site. The brief to Bauer was to celebrate the original home's best features and create additional contemporary family space. The client loved mid-century glamour, including geometry, pattern, decoration and craft, all of which were brought to this project and were expressed by this example of geometric wallpaper and a trivet which they brought with them to our first meeting. Our process at Bauer is to deeply explore site and brief, and that the influence and marriage of one to the other creates the magic and a design that feels revealed and meant to be. At this site, with this brief, the foundation conceptual framework became a house in 4 parts. The first, the retained front wing of the house restored. The second, the retained entry and back of house zone. Third, the new central living area facing north. And fourth, the new 2-storey east wing, screening the large neighbour to the west and creating a courtyard garden, taking in the best outlook. Our approach to sustainability at New Modern started by minimising waste by saving the majority of the existing home. The rear slab and bricks of the original living spaces were retained for reuse. The 4 parts are revealed in the new plan. The retained front wing with garage and entry undercroft at ground with existing bedrooms over refurbished for the girls. The existing entry and back of house zone. The new central main living areas where the family comes together, facing north. And the new east wing of the house, housing ground floor retreat spaces and the first floor study and main bedroom suite. In the sections, the four parts are stitched together by the key threads from the original house. Proportion. The height, scale and rectilinear form of the new east wing closely matches the retained front wing, sitting gently and comfortably on the site and not competing. The ceiling height of the new living comes from the perceived height of the original two-storey house from the rear. Journey and play of contraction and expansion as introduced by the original undercroft entry. The existing internal ceiling height at the entry opens to a higher ceiling of the living area. At the new east wing, surprising voids are introduced at the parents' retreat and an outdoor seat to create a play of volumes. The third theme, drawn from the original house, material and texture, is woven into the functional and whimsical metalwork screen, which creates a skin across the new east wing and shading canopy to the living area. The geometric circular patterning creates soft pattern shadows to filter across internal surfaces. From the street, the home appears in all its mid-century glory, surrounded by an unstructured and verdant garden designed by Eckersley Garden Architecture. Just visible through the undercroft is a glimpse of the white geometric screening, revealed as the journey unfolds towards the entry. Further threads of texture of the original house, brickwork, stone and timber detailing appear. We collaborated closely with Eckersley Garden Architecture and they added a lush, meandering series of spaces forming a counterpoint to the simplicity of the architectural form. Leading through the spaces, the entry area embraces natural materials inspired by the original house, including black butt timber joinery and panelling and travertine floors. The introduction of a new opening at the retained first floor opened up sightlines and introduced natural light. A glimpse of 60s inspired wallpaper at the powder room is subtly revealed behind the timber joinery. Passing from the lower ceilinged entry, the journey expands to the new central living space. It is a generous space where people can come together or pass through, filled with natural light, filtered through the screens and sunshade canopy. Patterned geometric shadows, brickwork and the travertine floor weave the rich textural threads of the original house. While inspired by the original metalwork and geometric details of the original house, the metalwork skin is clearly a contemporary element. It acts as a protective sunshade screen, passively assisting the internal temperature control while allowing concurrent natural ventilation. It's punctuated by strategically positioned openings, allowing for connections to the landscape and pool through considered fixed and framed views. Coming back inside, the back of house areas, powder, pantry, laundry, kitchen, appliances, study nook and secret stair to the first floor are concealed behind blackbutt timber joinery panelling, which can be open or closed as desired. With all the family working or studying at home, places to retreat to were important. The ground floor of the east wing features a parents' retreat and a games or pool room that can double as a guest suite or a future bedroom for an adult child. The brief for mid-century inspired glamour, but not glitz, is threaded through the interiors by use of quality materials, pattern, decoration and craft. A careful balance of minimalism and opulence. Art and mid-century inspired furniture are important to the client and the house acts as a vessel for their collection. The client has commented that there isn't a room that's not used daily. The two-part first floor creates zoning and privacy for both the girls at the front wing and John and Revit at the new wing. Restoration of the existing house included refreshed linings, metalwork, and introducing insulation and double glazing. Light is softened by the external screens in the main bedroom. Bathrooms in the house are crafted with timber lining and joinery, stone and geometric tiling pattern. There are still many average or typical mid-century homes in Melbourne. Lots of them are in Caulfield, and this project reveals how they can become contemporary homes, keeping a sense of their history. For someone to see this project and for it to lead them to rethink demolishing another typical or average mid-century house, New Modern would achieve its goal and assist in maintaining an important part of Melbourne's built history and diversity. This project reveals how a weary mid-century house can be reinvigorated into a contemporary home without loss of character or sense of heritage. Thanks. So that's the end of the presentation. Thanks for tuning in. So my favourite entry in this year's Victorian Architectural Awards 2020 is Two Sheds by Dreamer with Roger Nelson. There's so much about this house that I just love. It's so integrated and connected with its context and its setting. Its texture and materiality is just beautiful. And the memory with the sense of the veranda around it is really, it's engaging. The spaces inside are so whimsical too. They're so magical and offer just such an incredible journey and daily experience in the house. So we wish Dreamer with Roger Nelson all the very best for the Architectural Awards. And we wish all the shortlisted entries at the Architectural Awards on Friday, the 10th of July, all the very best. And we can't wait for the evening.